people involvement in our events rather than bringing rush or quantity to your stalls, because I have seen events from last 10 years. I'm seeing so many events in India, especially in the Ayush space, and I've realized that most of them have good number of crowd, good number of footfall. But ultimately, if you review the output, that is about the B2B events. We are not talking about the B2C events, by the way. So that I have seen in my career, that, and I've seen other industries as well. There they do very professionally as far as B2B events are concerned. But why not then in Ayush, or if not Ayush, at least in hemp? So that was the idea, to create this event, that the quality people should come to you. In fact, all of you, all 30 of you are potential client to each other. So maybe give and take businesses from each other. So आपके तो बॉस 30 के 30 पोटेंशियल बिजनेस क्लाइंट्स आपके स्टॉल्स के आसपास हैं, तो पहले उनको मिलें, उनको देखें, उनको समझें. बिकॉज मैं देख रहा हूँ डे 1 में भी so many people are not meeting each other. ठीक है, you may have differences or you may have competitive brands, competition हो सकता है आपका किसी के साथ, but there has to be healthy competition. India is huge, boss. आपको क्या लगता है when this industry will grow in next few years, this show will definitely be one of the largest show of any domain. ये उस potential तक industry जा सकती है. ये सारे शोज को पीछे छोड़ के आपका एक ऐसा शो होगा जो किसी भी इंडस्ट्री में नहीं होता. इतना पोटेंशियल है इस इंडस्ट्री में, बट उसके लिए वी नीड टू बी टुगेदर रेदर देन. ठीक है, आर्गुमेंट्स हैं, नेगेटिविटी है, बट लेट्स स्टार्ट ऑन दैट पॉजिटिव नोट. एंड पॉजिटिव नोट से स्टार्ट करने के लिए द बेस्ट थिंग इज टू गेट ए ब्लेसिंग्स. देवेश, यू हैव टू बी हियर प्लीज. यू वीडियो प्ले करो. एक हैंड माइक दे सर. ऑडियो के लिए हाँ मेरे को बोलना है. आज बोलना है. ये फिर ऑडियो तो वहीं से चलेगा क्योंकि ऑडियो. सो हेलो. सो फर्स्ट टाइम इन इंडिया a cabinet minister has recorded a video message for our show. He was supposed to be here today as a chief guest, but due to some reasons he was not able to pull time. So he has sent us a video recorded message, blessings for this event. And the idea of creating a hemp event was only to get them involved. The regulatory, the ministries should know the potential of this industry, this domain. Because when I started and when I realized in this industry, when I started practicing, basically I started as a practitioner. I never intend to develop any kind of. So I never intended to do any kind of business, by the way. I can't. I'm a practitioner. I'm a registered as a practitioner in my country. So I can't get involved in any kind of a business where it leads to unethical practices. I can't take any share of any of your company, by the way, if you are into medical cannabis. So, and I don't want to. So I request all of you to please understand this, why we are doing and why we need to take it forward to the next level. So why we are doing, because of this kind of volume check कर लीजिएगा. full screen करें. ऑडियो ठीक है ना? वॉल्यूम full screen कर दीजिए. And doctor, yeah, as for the global community, right, we've already started representing. So Yogesh was there with Buffalo Extraction in Thailand. Right. We were there as Blazing Chronics. We were already representing the Indian Vaidyas and the Hemp Vaidyas globally. Thank you so much.
नमस्ते. इंडियन वैद्य के द्वारा इंडिया हेम्प एक्सपो 2023 का आयोजन मुंबई में किया जा रहा है. इस कार्यक्रम में मुख्य अतिथि के रूप में आना था, लेकिन कुछ व्यस्तता के कारण आना संभव नहीं हो पा रहा है. इसके लिए हमें खेद है. इस कार्यक्रम के लिए इंडियन वैद्य की पूरी टीम के साथ ही इस कार्यक्रम में उपस्थित प्रतिभाग करने वाले सभी साथियों मित्रों को बहुत बहुत बधाई शुभकामना देता हूं। धन्यवाद।
Thank you. He is, by the way, our Ayush Minister state. We have two ministers in Ayush right now in India. One is the Cabinet Ayush Minister, Mr. Sonowalji from, he was the ex-Chief Minister of Assam. And Dr. Munj Paraji, he is our Minister of Ayush state. And he is himself, he is very positive, by the way. He is a cardiologist by profession. By background, he is a cardiologist. And he is very pro about Ayush, the entire Ayush segment, as well as hemp. He knows about hemp, by the way, when I met last time. However, he was saying that nobody approached me or talked to me the way you people are talking. This is making sense to me. So let's do our homework first. On that note, I will start this session also. Let's do our homework first. Let's redo our homework. The gap, because this is a legal talk as well in this session, manufacturing, cultivation, and the entire thing highly depends on the government policies, by the way. मार्केटिंग ब्रांड्स का एक बार को तो फिर भी काम चल जाता है, आप लोगों का गवर्नमेंट पॉलिसीज में अगर सिग्निफिकेंट चेंजेस ना हो और आपके बेनिफिट्स आपको ना मिले तो आपके बिजनेसेस पे उसका इंपैक्ट आता है, राइट? So this is directly related to the government officials, the ministries, the cabinet as well as the state. So my request to all of you is, let's sit together, all of you, and draft the entire expectations you are having with the cabinet ministries and the state ministries. There is a lot of confusion. आप काफी लोग अलग अलग चैनल से इंडिविजुअली मिल रहे हैं मिनिस्टर से, अलग अलग इवेंट्स में जा रहे हैं, बड़े बड़े इवेंट्स में छोटे छोटे स्टॉल्स लेके वहां भी कोशिश कर रहे हैं उनसे मिलने की, फोटो खिंचवाने की, वो सब ठीक है, बट इन सबसे कुछ नहीं होने वाला बॉस, इन सबसे कुछ नहीं होने वाला. The way we need to take it forward is, yesterday also in the evening session we were discussing, create a, for example, manufacturing association of them. At least all the manufacturers should be one umbrella. All the manufacturers should be in Ayurveda. There is a separate association of the manufacturers because they have separate challenges, not the OTC brands or the B2C business. So you have to create this ecosystem with you, and because if one company will go, the government will see a business interest or investor's interest. But if an association will go, they will definitely take up your matter, and it will go till the policy framework change in the policy. And they are ready. By the way, they are ready to change the policies. Can you imagine? But we never discuss them on their understanding and the way the process it has to be from the government. We are just beating around the bush till now. Sorry to say this. Certain other very important panelists. We have Rajneesh representing the cosmetic sector, which is very important. So in the afternoon session, we'll be doing all those discussions, but it will be back to back or maybe a few minutes of break, bio break we can say. But we need to continue the flow so that we can wrap up early, and then you can have 2-3 hours in the evening to interact with all of them in the stall. So I think we'll do like that only, right? So let's quickly introduce our all panelists. So I'll start from the state, Ashish, from you. So you can just raise your hand that you are Ashish. Okay. So I'm starting from Ashish and then introducing by sequence. So you know with whom like we are talking. So Ashish Srivastava is the director of Camptron Science Laboratories Private Limited. Integrated with most state-of-art infrastructure, they are into manufacturing of supercritical system, extraction systems, and separation systems. Welcome, Ashish. Welcome to our event. Thank you so much for pulling time. Then next to Ashish, we have Mr. Yogesh Jamtani ji. He is the Chief Executive Officer of Buffalo Extraction Systems, a leading turnkey solutions provider in the cannabis extraction space, providing state-of-the-art extraction systems for the extraction of cannabis and other organic products. With extensive experience in the space, Yogesh is a key business leader with a proven record of leading successful cross-functional projects across Africa, North America, and Asia Pacific. Thank you, Yogesh. We are pleased to have you with us. Then next to him we have Mr. Vishesh Kilewala. He is the co-founder and CPIO of Swadesh Than. CPIO?
Chief Product and Information Officer.
Great. Chief Product and Information Officer. Nice. First time I've heard this kind of. By leveraging his professional experience in technology and his experiential journey with medical cannabis in USA, great. He is working toward bringing reliable dosage products with consistent and repeatable effects in India. Under his product development leadership, Swadesh Than is launching novel medical cannabis products and novel delivery mechanisms. Great, Vivesh. Great, Vishesh. Great. And thank you so much for being the associate sponsor of our event. Thank you. Mr. CM Reddy, right? He is a well-seasoned professional with 20 years of experience in research in nutrition and Ayurveda, regulatory affairs and IPR activities. He is the founder and CMD of Amitojas Wellness Private Limited, a R&D dedicated to research in nutrition, ayurvedicals and medical nutrition therapies. Great, Mr. Reddy. We are very much privileged to have you with us. We just interacted, I think, again, we just interacted last week, 2 weeks back, and he immediately decided to have his company. In fact, he was asking for bigger space and all, but that was sold out. So thank you so much, Mr. Reddy. Thank you for. Hope you had a good time yesterday and today also. We are hoping that, and it's his products are excellent. You just try the nano emulsifying oil, just getting dissolved in the water. Thank you. We have Mr. Sukrit Goyal next to him. He is the founder of Canazo India, an hemp leaf extract nanotechnology-based phytomedicine company with richness of Ayurveda. He is a member of managing committee at the Indian Red Cross Society, National Secretary of Human Rights Commission, and Pancham Charity Foundation under Canazo India. Great. He is also a Vinod Dixit Award winner, which was presented by the former Chief Minister of Delhi, Sheila Dixit. Great, Sukrit. We have Mr. Karan Sara sir, right? Sar sir, great. Founder and director, Avega Green Technologies. Avega Green Technologies is one of the first engineering companies in India to research and develop innovative ideas and applications in the field of hemp industry. They lead and grow in providing sustainable and eco-friendly solutions using the advanced technologies for everyone to realize their green world dream by using the 3D ideology. Great, Karan. I think Karan and his group is very dynamic. In our event, they have launched hemp shoe. They have launched hemp. They are building a hemp bicycle. So the first prototype they have launched here. They have driven from straight away from Pune to Mumbai on a hemp biofuel. The diesel is being fortified with B20. I think Karan will tell more about that. So, and they are doing so many. In fact, the kits, all the kits we have received, the bag is from the hemp paper, the diary is from the hemp paper, and the certificate is also from the hemp paper. So I was always having that dream that when I will do any kind of an expo, sorry, including the mementos, those are from hemp wood. So I always have a dream that whenever I will be doing an event in India, at least everything I can get. In fact, next time I will get you these lanyards also from him, and I will wear a hemp suit. That is my promise next time. So that passion you should have inside you if you want to grow this industry. Otherwise, boss, there are so many challenges at so many levels you can't imagine. People are threatening us. to keep medicines for the patients, and I handle those threats day in and day out. Right? This is not easy, but you have to have that passion inside you when you are involved in this industry. People will understand. In fact, 2 days back, they tried to cancel this event. By the way, I'm saying this on record. There were some issues, but that internal confusion we clarified to them. They listened us, and then they were very happy because problem is लोगों ने इसको पत्ती जहाँ दिखी तो they are just negative and I don't know media we tried. In fact, so many launches we have done. I always wanted to have the mainstream media, the national international exposure to this event, but just because of the leaf, उन्होंने बोला सर पत्ती हटा दोगे तो हम आ जाएंगे. मैंने कहा पत्ती तो मैं हटाऊंगा नहीं, आप बताओ. जिस दिन पत्ती के साथ आओगे उस दिन आना. So holding हमारा PMC का lecture also हो गया about that. Great. So on that note, let me start. But first, I want to give a special thanks to 4 international delegates we have today. I never expected that you people would travel from your country and join an event like this. It's just growing, but hope you have a great time. Hope you get good experience from our event and spread it to your country. And hope, as we are planning to start our international chapter this year, to each one of your host country will be doing our India Hemp Expo in future. So thank you so much for joining today. We have, and sorry if I pronounce it wrong, you may be correct this. So we have Mr. Raman Granados, right? Great, from Perth, Australia. We welcome you. He's our panelist in the next session as well. Thank you, sir. Thank you for being here. And I think he's the person who is responsible for the 2 lakh plus reach in Australia, right? And thank you, sir, for that as well. Thank you. We have Miss Beatrix Hennigal. Great. She is from Dubai, and she is the one who will be receiving the first order of hemp bicycle, if I'm not wrong. Right. So we'll be launching the key today in this discussion. So you are creating a history already.
Yes, sir. We are the first ones in Dubai to open a hemp product store.
Great.
So it's an historic moment where
Great.
a Muslim country
Right.
is actually now.
Absolutely, absolutely. You're talking that in the yesterday. Great, great. Thank you so much. Our pleasure. And we need to record a video message of all 4 of you after this session as well. Our team and I will be there with you. Thank you so much. We have Miss Natasha Khemka. Great. Miss Natasha Khemka from Kathmandu, Nepal. Great, lovely country. Thank you, Miss Khemka, for visiting us. I think we can take it forward in many ways in Nepal. Thank you so much. And we have Mr. Tashinga. Tashinga or Tashinga? Tashinga, great. From Zimbabwe.
He's from
ZIST, okay.
Zimbabwe.
Zimbabwe Industrial Hemp Trust, great. Zimbabwe Industrial Hemp Trust is representing from Zimbabwe. Welcome to our event. Thank you so much, all of you, for pulling time and joining us for this event. We are honored and privileged to have all of you. So quickly, I will start from Ashish, so you can quickly introduce, and each panelist can just introduce themselves, just talk about your brand and company in a couple of minutes, and then we will, no, maybe you can take 5 to 10 minutes because all of you have this pitch. Yogesh as the president, you can take 5-10 minutes as well in detail about you, what you are doing, what exactly you are into.
Yes.
So it's a kind of a pitch for you and your organization
Yes.
to the entire panel. And then we will have the Yogesh session and Dr. Priyanka video, and then we'll open to the, I think this will be more interactive. I can see the faces and the questions. Yeah, बहुत सारे questions आने वाले हैं, तो उसको फिर interaction पे डाल देंगे boss. ठीक है? Thank you.
Yeah, namaste everyone. I'm Ashish. I represent Capron Science Laboratories. We are into the technology of extraction. So we basically have been working for the past 10 years and try to make this technology completely indigenous. The idea is that supercritical as a concept, as a extraction system is very, very expensive, and it's only made by a few companies worldwide because of the high pressure, because of the a lot of challenges in the machine. Our idea was to try to get it as cheap as possible, so that there is a lot of applications of supercritical CO2 as such. Besides cannabis, we have sold close to around 30-40 machines for various extractions like ginger, ashwagandha, vetiver, and so on and so forth. So as a company, we are trying to focus on the second value chain. So there are 3 value chains in the whole hemp economy. One is the agriculture part. Second is the processing, and third is the formulations and the commercial part of it, where we see so many stalls here. So as a company, we want to ensure that we have this supercritical setup designed especially for cannabis, where because depending on the pressures, depending on the application, the machine can be really stripped down for this particular application. And besides the extraction, the post-harvest process, from the moment you harvest your crop till the dehydration, till the curing, then getting into the supercritical, then getting into the purification of the oil, where you remove the lipids, wax, and all these kind of non-wanted items, and then uh, you know working towards isolation. But unfortunately, since it's not legal in India, I was just telling Piyush that we went to a event in Lucknow called the Ayush thing. So I asked the question as to if, as a company based in Mumbai, I want to do research on hemp or cannabis, whatever you call it. What is the thing? I mean, because the problem right now is everybody is confused, because I've met so many of hemp people in India. What kind of regulations is there? What kind of thing is there? Something which Piyush has done a very wonderful job of getting all these people together, and but unfortunately, it's difficult to reach a consensus as to how do we approach the government. Because I met a couple of IAs during that event, and to be really frank with you, nobody had any idea what are the benefits. Nobody had any idea as to it can be a $1 billion industry. I mean, we talk about make in India, right? I mean, as a manufacturer, I possibly cannot make this kind of equipment because there is no research there backing it. A lot of research has happened in the US, which Yogesh probably will elaborate on that. But as an Indian manufacturer of machinery, it can be there's tons of machinery which is going in this economy. I mean, so we have dehydration systems where you need to dehydrate the hemp buds or leaves or whatever you can call it to a level where you don't lose the terpenes. The process of extraction itself is not like a generic extraction. So when you talk about ginger, you talk about any other Ayurvedic herb, there is a process, there is an SOP that needs to be followed. Now the SOP for cannabis cannot be done in India at least. I mean, I possibly have to work on that. I cannot do it in Maharashtra because Maharashtra has a blanket ban. There is no authority where I can go and speak to that I want to do this. Tell me the way. So the whole thing is kind of jumbled up, confused, crisscross. So my recommendation to Piyush is that you have this kind of technical forums where people are allowed to put their presentations, where ministers are there. I mean, I don't know how you do it, but this is what I would expect from a body. So I think there are 3-4 associations as well. So I just came yesterday. I came to know that there are some 2-3 separate associations.
Just to add on to this, we already have discussed with 2 states right now. See, there are positive states, there are confused states, and there are negative states. There are 3 kind of states in India. I repeat: positive states, confused states, and negative states. So we are starting from the positive states, that we'll be doing some state level events. All of you will be invited in that. There will be definitely a presentation and a documentation of that event under the banner of any associations who are there in the industry. We want to add all the associations in that portfolio. All the associations should join. We will talk to the. Yesterday, by the way, 2 officials from Uttarakhand officially visited this event. Entire day they were here, and the secretary instructed them to produce a report of this event, of this industry, to take it forward in Uttarakhand. That we have done yesterday. Today also expecting certain officials from Uttar Pradesh, but somehow there are some urgent cabinet meetings going on. So they have asked us to send all the recordings, and UP Ayush Minister also will be sending a video message shortly to us. So these 2 states right now we have started and discussed. So definitely that kind of an event, and there we have asked, they send all your secretaries, all your decision makers who can decide after this. That, for example, somebody needs to take it for textile, somebody needs to take it for agriculture. There are various departments involved in this, by the way. So Ayurveda is one, then textile is another, then in some aspect of food is involved because in some aspects the agriculture is involved, in some aspects directly or indirectly narcotics or excise should be either informed or should be aware what's going on. So these things we need to plan, and it's very hard to bring all of them under one umbrella. But yeah, we are trying, and very soon we'll be updating.
Yeah, I really appreciate. I mean, the work you're doing is incredible. I mean, I feel it's just a tipping point. It's like a domino, Once one of these states gets, gets hold of how this thing has to be done, because see, India has 21 climatic zones. Sorry, the world over, there are 21 climatic zones, and India has 19 of them. So, as of the size of the country, I mean, just the whole economy, it is so incredible, and at the same time so frustrating that something was such big opportunity with a country like us, and right now and during this time when you want to propel the economy and all that. So I mean, it's frustrating, but I feel there is a good amount of work which is happening thanks to you, and I feel it's a tipping point. It's just a matter of time. So India, in general, we're very slow to start, but when we start, then there is no stopping. So that's my kind of comment.
Thanks, Ashish. I'm Yogesh. I run Buffalo Extraction Systems. We are a turnkey solution provider. We play throughout the value chain. We help clients grow. We help clients extract, post-process, go to market. We do have a manufacturing facilities in India and an office in the US. That's about the introduction. I'm glad to be here. Thank you, Dr. Piyush. Thank you, Indian Venture. And on to Ashish's points, I think it's a great opportunity. There are constraints here that are existing in the industry at the moment. We can't focus on flower. There is only leaf extract that's allowed. There is confusion around THC content. There is lobbying going on. There are a lot of associations who are side taking. That the industry is so small, and there is already part taking going on. The size of the industry is really minuscule. We don't have a big domestic market. We don't have any exports. We do have a light at the end of the tunnel for textiles. India has had a long history with cotton. But speaking from just a whole industry standpoint and the value chain, I see, despite of all of this, there is great opportunity here in these constraints, right? I mean, we are still here. We are still all of us trying to focus on, say, okay, what is my value proposition? How am I going to be a part of this industry? What is my right play? Am I going to be on the fabric side of things? Am I going to be extracting? Do I want to grow eventually? Am I a seed person? So I think my one piece recommendation would be like, it may seem like a gold rush, but believe you me, it's not. It's an opportunity. It is about to become a gold rush, and it is our responsibility that we are working as a team. So the policymakers and the lobbyists have to go on and keep doing their thing of convincing the government. On the side, entrepreneurs, I think we need to find the right product market fits for each part of the value chain. So if we say Ayurveda, and Ayurveda is the first mover in the hemp space where we are able to use this crop from the from the excise department. And one great value proposition which a lot of brands here are already solving is solving ailments. I mean, solving problems that people have had, health problems. And that's a great proposition which is not scaled up even to 20% of its capacity. I mean, with the 1.3 billion population, and how many Ayurveda medicines are we able to scale up this year? Are we making targets for ourselves? How many doctors are prescribing those? And that's a great initiative what Dr. Piyush is doing, because he's taking this oath to maximize this to another level altogether, and that's happening every year, and it's going to be a snowball effect henceforth. And same way, if you are interested in different parts of the value chain, we have to look at every proposition individually and work as a team. And I think based on, we travel to the West, we've seen the business picking up in the Americas, in South America, and in, say, Africa. I think what India holds in the tropics, we have the right climate, we have the right labor force, we have the right experience, and we have the right access to technology. I think the only thing left here is the intent and that relentless execution that we need on our side to get this going on. I mean, we can be part taking sides and taking out issues on the lobbying policy side, but that will happen. I mean, Dr. Piyush and the team will make that happen. As entrepreneurs, we need to be focused on our goals. So that's my 2 cents. I'll get to a technical presentation. And if anybody has questions about technology or parts of the value chain, if you need um, any kind of expertise from, say, cultivation or product making or extraction, please feel free to reach out to me. Thank you so much.
Hello everyone, my name is Vishesh, and I thank you, Dr. Piyush, for having me part of this panel. We are an upcoming, B2B focused and based startup. We are doing extractions, both medical, we are doing topicals, and we are doing classical Ayurvedic medicines. We also have plans to do seed-based seed-based products like hemp seed oil, hemp protein powder, and we are also trying to get into animal feed because of the the numerous benefits of the hemp seeds that it can provide, like the golden ratio for omega and superior protein content than soybean. I think I agree with Dr. Piyush when he says that there should be one manufacturers association, because there is a lot of confusion around what type of product should be in the market, what type of um licenses or permissions that you can get, like what kind of THC content, CBD content. We don't really talk about THC and CBD content in the products because we are only allowed to do full spectrum. But again, the raw material that we are getting is not up to the mark. The raw material itself is not full spectrum because it's missing a very key thing, which is called terpenes, which Dr. Piyush talked about yesterday also. So yeah, I guess once we start doing events like this, people will get more informed about this wonderful plant, and people will start using it more. Yeah, so that's
Good afternoon, friends. This is Dr. C.M. Reddy here. So I've been I'm a PhD in medical nutrition. So I have 3 points to say here. So we have of late interest we have developed since last 10 years in the space of cannabis, and that's how we have put up Astalia Sci-Fi Go. So where we are working on the medical part, the proprietary items, we have a couple of patents, 3 patents in the various technologies and the delivery systems, including our nanoemulsion technology. So right now we are focusing on oncology and the related this one. So not into the Shastic stuff right now, because that is I think there are many companies who are doing so. I mean, everybody is doing the same thing, doesn't make sense. So as I got interacted with Dr. Piyush, thank you, Dr. Piyush, for pushing me to take up this decision to come. I find, as he rightly pointed out, we have, I mean, I thank him for the opportunity. So without I think him inviting us, I would have never been here, or we would have put a start here. I think we took decision in a week, in a same day when I met him. And then here I see more than, okay, I don't know whether we meet the clients here. Among ourselves, there is so much. See, for any industry to successful, 3 things are very important. One is supply chain, as a couple of panels already put out. So supply chain has to be standard. That is contract farming, legalization. That is one. Second, more important thing is the consumers. So in between, who is bridging is the monographs. Where is the monograph? For example, everybody is telling, okay, you extraction is issue is there, and the finished product regulations issues are there. But who is doing the standardization? Who is doing the harmonization of the regulations? I mean, what kind of monographs are there? So first of all, many people don't in India. I'm sorry, there is many people don't do the validation and the stability profiling of the product, the toxicology profile of the product. Everything is proprietary here. So under the Ayush, this one, see, I run a company called Antosis, which is into medical nutrition. In FSSAI, there is a category called FSMP. So 90% of our business comes in this category, food supplements for a special medical purpose, where it is a food product, but it has to be sold under prescription only, where 378 herbs are allowed. Why don't we make a pitch to, because I was one of the idiots who made this law. So no, I was one of the panelists there, an advisory panel. So when the 378 herbs can be allowed, including all of our foreign herbs, we are allowing Panchkalvia, Yogipine, ginseng. Why not cannabis?
Just to interrupt you, sorry. The problem here is, see, they have already mentioned that.
Yeah.
Can you just explain the?
I can talk to.
Just again repeat the full form of that category you mentioned.
FSMP, food supplements for special medical purpose,
Okay.
where it mandates products to be sold under prescription only.
Very good. So this line I want to
And here
capture.
we are allowed to make health claims also, for your information. It's called disease risk reduction.
No,
claims.
sir. The problem here is this entire industry should need to understand. But any industry working in IU should need to understand. You are saying the food, literally the food kind of products, but for a particular medical use,
Yes.
to be sold under medical prescription.
Where we can make health claims.
Let me complete. The problem here is it technically is Schedule E1 medicine to be done by the prescription only, being marketed over the counter by all the companies till now in medical cannabis. Point number one. And now you are talking about the herbs which are technically connected to the food segment. But again, the problem is same. So companies will take approval, we can initiate, but then they will just focus on selling all those medicine directly to the consumers. The very important stakeholders in between doctors will be ignored in that. Because वो food से license मिला है आपको.
There is a without if you sell the regulation for FSMP and the license separately, they will take under FSMP. It's not just a general FSSI license for any sector.
Sir, वो
So
ठीक
they
है.
have to take a separate category for which clinical study is required. And it has
First
to be-
thing is, let me interrupt you. First thing I requested yesterday also, your entire industry needs to define a protocol.
Correct. That is very important.
In pharma, you can't bridge the protocol.
Yeah.
You can't do a prescription drug advertisement on social media.
Correct.
And if you do, your license will be cancelled.
Absolutely.
And the other stakeholders will immediately ban you to using
No,
all
I'm
this.
happy to tell you under
So
FSMP
this should be there.
categories. So infant foods also come under FSMP category, and FSMP category food products cannot be advertised also. So it is permissible offense under FSMP guidelines to advertise foods for special medical purpose as well. This is, see, I've been working on the research in the oncology sector. You know how many oncology doctors are there in this country? We have around 1 crore, approximately 1 crore patients in this. We have only 294 medical oncologists. You know what is the market size of oncology drugs? Somebody was mentioning yesterday, your products are pricey. So you know it is $2 billion in India. 294 doctors. I know all of them. Like I know Dr. Piyush. I know all these 294 people, MD oncologists, all put together. All the radiologists, everybody put together. We have 1864 doctors. In that, MD oncology is only 294. 294 medical oncologists are oncosurgeons are prescribing $2 billion worth business in India, whereas we have 3.5 Ayurvedic doctors. And I don't know, I mean, how much we are in oncology, how much we are in space, I really. So,
doctors are ready.
You have lost.
Doctors are ready. Companies are not ready.
Now you have to pick up $1 billion.
Doctors are ready. Companies are not ready.
So, no, why don't we see? Recently, I was addressing a gathering at Aspen, American Society of Parental Enteral Nutrition. So, we have in India this chapter of it called the IAPEN, which is Indian Association of Parental and Enteral Nutrition, which is where all the nutrition supplements, which are medical nutrition, which we give in the ICU patients. So, why don't we have cannabis this one, associations in the West, global association, who have their lobbying power in the WHO, in the UNICEF, because I was also a panelist in UNICEF for a long time. So I have some Dr. Wilson Fleet who heads the Asia operations, I know very well. So why don't we bring and ask them to participate here in our expo. I will try and introduce you to them. We will definitely call them to our Bangalore session. So then we can ask them to open a branch in Indian chapter, like he has come from Zimbabwe, this Industrial Hemp Trust. So like that, we can call all these global trusts, and then they will put together the Indian association. Then we can have a definitely better bargaining power. So one thing, Dr. Piyush, I really appreciate your efforts. So when I was listening to all your what do you say, all your troubles which you're thinking this one, and people not allowing you to even go to the advertisement and the billboards. So, but I would give you some inspiration, because today morning only I was reading Gita. I found this one shloka which is very apt for you. He says, Krishna says, यद्यद् आचरति श्रेष्ठाः तत्तदेव इतरो जनः सयत् प्रमाणं कुरुते लोकस्य तदनुवर्तते. For those who don't know Sanskrit, I'll repeat in English. So he says, be a trendsetter. यद्यद् आचरति, always follow the trendsetters and सयत् प्रमाणं कुरुते. Taking them as their case study, people take them as lead, then you establish a product. So the monetization and harmonization is what it will ultimately lead it to. But Dr. Piyush, definitely you are doing trend setting up. I really commend it with you, and I'm grateful that you invited us here. And we find a lot of cohesion with the person who is sitting next to me and many other people who have decided to work together. So I mean, in the one day, so there's a lot of interest among ourselves where we can do it. And thanks a lot for bringing. So and definitely for FSMP guideline, I'll be making. FSSAI chief. So I'll be definitely taking your this one. Please give me your magazine and that thing. So I can take it and discuss because I was also one of the panel member. And the panel who is sitting next time in the Bangalore session, we will invite ICMR chief.
No, sir, definitely. And I think this FSMP is a nice category.
Yeah,
All
because
doctors are here
Sasikiran is
to
on our
support.
advisory board and he is currently the scientific panel chief of FSSA under FSMP guidelines. So I will definitely take this also because the lobby will go to the food ministry. Food ministry is a bigger ministry than ours in terms of the value to the government, right?
Absolutely, sir.
They
Thank you
will,
so
if
much.
it goes from there also, they'll be happy.
Great, sir. Great. No, in fact, we want companies to take FSMP and take it forward in terms of producing their medicine because those companies are still very serious companies and they respect doctors. I know that.
And publishing is another thing. When we have not published enough data on cannabis, that is another thing. See, we are. I'm a founder member of. I don't know how many of you are know Dr. B.M. Hegde. He started I mean, very globally renowned person. Recently passed away, Padma Bhushan. So we had started Indian. So it is World Association of Authentic Healing Sciences, which is headquartered in Bangalore. Mangalore. So we have 14 Nobel laureates in alternate medicine who believe in Ayurveda in our sitting in our country. So they have never used them.
Right.
So please help with us or Indian Veda. Please become a member. I'll call next time in Bangalore because they'll be happy to come.
Sure.
So we have 14 Nobel laureates in alternate medicine who are the editorial committee of this time. We can publish all our research, a white paper we can bring in, and their validation means a lot.
Sure, sir.
And
Definitely.
government will also take seriously.
Thank you. Thanks.
I'm Sukrit this side. First of all, thank you, Dr. Piyush, for inviting me here. Just to give a brief background about myself, I'm the founder of Hexop. That's basically a nanotechnology company. Now, coming to my journey, how I started with cannabis, I have a personal experience. 8 years back down the line, I had to import CBD when I actually needed for myself. So 7 years back, approximately 7 8 years back, I got a hemorrhage and I was completely paralyzed that time. And it is through cannabis that I cured myself. So I have a different business of graphene content which I'm already providing, but still this business cannabis was very like near my heart, and I really wanted whenever it comes in India, I start with it. It's been a long journey, been 6 years since I'm in the industry. Started with a loan license as just a part of the license, took over someone else's manufacturing unit, and I'm proud to announce around 6 months back we launched our own manufacturing unit, which is like state of art technology. We are having cryogenic extraction along with CO2 extraction, the only company to have that. We are right now manufacturing for around 60% of the market, and when we talk about patents, we have one patent which is already applied. Okay, two patents which are applied and one patent which is already granted, which is for nanofiltration technology using graphene. So that is what we're already doing. When we talk about drug delivery system, we've already started to research along with a university in Uttarakhand where we quantum dots along with cannabis for better drug delivery. Because one thing, when the cost comes to the market, there was a lot of discussion regarding the cost yesterday, that is very costly. That is because the dosage which really needs to be given is like 3000 mg or 6000 mg because of the bioavailability. But when we infuse it with quantum dots, the bioavailability increases by 5 to 6 times, due to which the dosages required would be less, and yes, it will become affordable for the whole market. Along with that, yes, we've also just ventured into liquidization. That's also like liquidization. That's also a way of basically increasing the bioavailability. So that's also something which we've already done and we've taken ahead. Coming to the extraction systems. For the extraction systems, I feel right now the market is basically when the exports start, the market will even develop more. Right now, majorly having a 2 kg or a 3 kg per day extraction is more than sufficient for the market. And honestly, we had to make our own machines because when we actually plan to import it, normally for them 1 kg or 2 kg is a lab scale till date. For them, the minimum it's like a 50 kg or a 100 kg extraction also. So that's when I actually realized there's a huge scope. But still, till that time, the whole industry, as Dr. Piyush and everyone here said, rightly said, and your this guy sir also said, if when everyone comes together in their own value chain and everyone develops together, overall, yes, the market can become huge, and also India itself is basically a motherland, a place where the best strains are actually found. But we are still in the thing where we are still focusing on the leaves, and we are still fighting the legal system actually on the leaves itself and the CBD THC. Buds is something which is maybe a very later stage. But if everyone comes together, the first thing what I feel what should be a path, maybe as my friend next to me rightly said, first we need to make people aware of like how the biofuel and other stuff can help, which is basically non-prescription based. Once all that happens, people get to know what is the awareness about hemp. Yes, medical cannabis has treated a lot of ailments, and we've seen with like there was one of the cancer patients around 30 inches tumor they had, it got reduced. We even Times of India had covered us for autism. Basically, there was one of the doctors, maybe Dr. Shruti will be sitting here. So she had done for autism, and she actually did really well. So I feel medical cannabis has a market. The only thing where I feel the market still needs to go ahead is legalization, as well as how much CBD or THC is required, because all the doctors ask what is the CBD percentage, what is the THC percentage. Yes, in the capabilities we can do, but as soon as we go to see it in the market, it is something which everyone will be scared of, because in Ayush what is defined as of now is only full spectrum. We cannot use CBD, THC or the ratios yet. That is something I feel, as you correctly said, standardization is very important for that. Where internationally, how we know that okay, fine, this is the CBD limit, this is the THC limit, so we can make different medicines, different ratios. That is again something which is very important, and I feel everyone we need to work together for that. Thank you so much.
Hi, good afternoon to all. My name is Karan Salsa, founder and CEO of Avega Green Technologies. So, as Sir mentioned about our introduction, uh, I won't take much time to like introduce more, but definitely I would like to take forward and add points to what Sukrut just mentioned out here regarding cost production of cannabis products are currently high. That's majorly because of the process and the team and the investment that we have put in. Okay, definitely, if we are looking for an ROI, return on investment, between year 2.5 years to like as soon as possible. It is not possible to regain when you're investing crores of rupees into research and development and manufacturing units. Definitely, it is not possible to like give it at an early stage where it's very cheaper, or like unless and until you get connected with the government for subsidy. In this way, we actually lower the cost, optimize the cost, and definitely bring it into a category where the medicines or any product of cannabis comes under a generic sector. Secondly, I would like to like add one small thing that we are actually carrying hemp cannabis in our pockets. Now, everyone would be like, how? So, the thing that we always are close to our hearts, that is money. The notes that we all have is the composite of hemp cannabis fibers. That is the reason your currency notes are non-tearable, means like it doesn't tear off easily. Secondly, even if you chew, your teeth can actually slide onto it, it doesn't like break off. Indirectly, every one of us are carrying hemp or industrial hemp fibers in our pockets. So it is not that we are not familiar. It is just that we are unaware of the thing that we have around us. Right now, tomorrow, we are actually restricted or prohibited. It's like a taboo where people think that okay, talking about cannabis is a crime. It's controversial, like Sir mentioned about states are like positive, confused, and negative. The thing is, the confusion can be cleared. How? The moment you start placing the products around the people, like you start wearing clothes, you start wearing accessories, you start carrying vehicles, you start carrying fuel. definitely it becomes a part of the ecosystem. Earlier, even tobacco was prohibited, but later on the optimization, we found out in our research that it can be used for your hair growing techniques. The oil extracts from tobacco are actually used for having healthier hair. It has those importance only when taken in a limited or prescribed amount. The thing is, we are overusing. It is not about what, how, it is all about optimized value. Like anything which is surplus, which is actually harmful for us. So now, if we actually give a thought, it should be necessary to optimize the use of hemp and definitely we can make a part of this ecosystem into this world. Thank you.
Thanks, Karan. Thanks so much. We'll quickly have a quick introduction from our international delegates. We can at least tell everybody about you maybe in a couple of minutes. Please be brief. We have limited time. But I thought as you have joined us, we will have him in the next session as a panelist. But at least you can quickly introduce yourself and talk about what exactly you are looking from India so that other people can meet you after this session as well and take it forward. From your place only, please.
Hello, everybody. As introduced, my name is Sashinga Maroeke. I am from the Zimbabwe Industrial Hemp Trust. The Zimbabwe Industrial Hemp Trust is the organization behind the legalization of the cannabis industry in Zimbabwe. We've been at the lobby work and all that kind of stuff for almost 8 years now, and I'm glad to say that our country, well, the government had a lot of political will towards developing this industry. So everything took off, at a lightning speed. And comparatively, I think Zimbabwe has one of the best environments for, establishing cannabis industry. So yeah, I'm here today because I've been invited by Awega. Right, Awega is a budding partner in our activities. We're exploring a lot of exchange in terms of technology, exchange in terms of experiences, the lobbying, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I'm here today because of it. I've also got relations with Yogesh. Yogesh has been to Zimbabwe. We actually have a partnership together. We're working on extraction in Zimbabwe with his technologies together as well. So yeah, I'm very grateful to be here. I'm happy to meet every one of you. When you get the time, yes, we can talk about cannabis the whole day because that's my passion as well. Thank you so much.
Hi everyone and welcome to the second, Hemp conference at Dr. Piyush. Everyone, thank you for being here. Thank you for organizing it. I came to the first one and I'm back again. I really loved it. And my company, as Karen introduced, is in Dubai. It's Happy People. The name is Happy People. And what we are looking to is really introduce the variety that industrial hemp can bring to inspire all the different industries that can connect to hemp. So we showcase clothes, shoes, bicycle, furniture, you name it, probably we have it, And we do a lot of education around it to government, to universities, to communities, schools, wherever we can to educate them how they can use industrial hemp. B2B is the focus, and it's a very large scale. As Karen mentioned, we are opening our showroom-educational space roughly in a month, and the goal is really to more to show the industrials to start off from that food instead of going on a detour and then starting to explain the leaf and etc., which is already banned in Dubai, by the way. We start out with educating people of what industrial hemp is, what's the good about it. It's a plant that can be used in 2,500 plus different ways. Are you interested? And this is what it says on the homepage of the website as well. So this is where we start, and we are happy to collaborate and open to collaboration. Thank you. Thank you. Sasha.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Natasha from Nepal. And to give a brief introduction about myself, I work on industrial hemp. First of all, I would like to thank Karan for inviting me and PhD for organizing such a nice event. So I'm from Nepal basically, and as Nepal has its expertise on industrial hemp already, and me having a passion for working on natural fibers and in fact protecting the nature, you can see I work on papers and textiles. So this is what we are doing right now. And from my part, as I have a passion for this plant a lot, I believe a lot in it. So from my side, what I am contributing is to educate people as here also we are talking about a lot of taboos, like with the leaf part also, like people just don't want us to showcase it. And Nepal also it's the same thing that we have to be very, very, though it is like the historical aspect of our country as well, but it grows in the wild over there. It's seen everywhere, like in the mountains as well. When you're walking as well, we can see there. But still, it's a taboo, but we can't use it. So from my side, I'm trying to eradicate that taboo, at least that with this product, what all we can do it, we can build a home, we can make papers. Then it doesn't need to be cut a tree like white deforestation. So that's what we are trying to do. And Wild Leaves is very happy to collaborate with everyone and work with the Indian hemp company as well. Whichever companies we are working with is my clients are basically from India, and I'm trying to do my part in this industry. Thank you so much.
Hello. My name is Ramon Granados. Before I joined the hemp industry, I used to design and build oil and gas refineries around the whole world, 15 different countries. In 2016, I went to Colorado, and this visit changed my life. I decided to quit my corporate career and dedicate my life to serve the cannabis plant. So far, I have been providing with a team of other engineers in Perth, Australia, services, engineering services and project management services to different companies in order to help startup companies to scale up. In 2016, I also learned about the prohibition. I used to be a medicinal cannabis user, something that I have been doing for 45 years and 61 years. This may surprise you, but I do have 3 different engineering careers. I do have 2 master's degrees. Beyond that, I have the fortunate and to have met Karan Cesar 2 years ago in shows. I do also do expos around the world, something that I have been doing in the last 2 years. This alliance that we have with Awega has helped us to design different products that we want to put in the market. One of those is a construction helmet a prototype that we did a couple of days ago. We still need to improve it, but the idea is to mass produce every product that we are putting in market. I could go on and talk about cannabis the whole day long, either one way or another, but one of the main roles that I have in the industry is an agitator. I like to talk about the prohibition. The prohibition has set a mind, has put a mindset in our minds, believing that we are going to overcome the prohibition, what the politicians are doing around the world, trying to blockade what is a right of humans to have cannabis at hand. In Mexico, in Mexico, we have declared cannabis a human right. All around the world, just about in Latino countries, we have the right to grow your own. You have the right to produce your own medicine. However, in most countries, we try to align with the idea that we are going to compete with pharma, and that's not going to happen because they are the ones who doesn't want us to do this. So I believe that the only way that we can overcome the challenge is that we have a solid, unite voice so we can actually make this happen. One of the main aspects that I'm doing here in India is that recently Australia and India have just assigned a free trade market. Free trade market that we can basically feed the whole world from everything that we can do in India. India has not only a potential, India has everything that we need in the whole world. In a moment that the Western world is blocking all the business with China, this is the opportunity that we have in this moment to conquer the whole world. And I feel absolutely blessed with Carranza Sir, something that I have told him many times, that with a proper alliance, improving the way that we do business, overcome the timeline to deliver what we promise, I am very sure that many of you here will become next billionaires of the new era. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. But it's an honor to have you with us. Quickly, we are playing the video message from Dr. Priyanka from US because the international delegation is going on. So I think after that we will have session from Yogesh. And we have a very interesting launch also today. And then we'll wait for lunch. Thank you. Yes, please. Increase the volume.
Possibility and promise. A crop that hasn't been farmed in America for over 60 years is making an exciting and historic comeback.
Industrial hemp is an agricultural plant that can be used for medicinal and industrial applications. CBD, or cannabidiol, is one of the many cannabinoids that can be derived from the industrial hemp plant. One of the biggest differentiators, of course, is that industrial hemp has been used in the
आवाज क्यों नहीं आ रहा है वीडियो का? लैपटॉप को ये माइक लगा लैपटॉप हाँ
Mystery and misconception, possibility and promise. A crop that hasn't been farmed in America for over 60 years.
for medicinal and industrial applications. CBD.
Mystery and misconception, possibility and promise. A crop that hasn't been farmed in America for over 60 years is making an exciting and historic comeback.
Industrial hemp is an agricultural plant that can be used for medicinal and industrial applications. CBD, or cannabidiol, is one of the many cannabinoids that can be derived from the industrial hemp plant. One of the biggest differentiators, of course, is that industrial hemp has been used in the textile industry for a long time. Concrete, different reinforcement of materials, its seeds have various properties. Hemp seed oil is pretty big on the market. There's hemp hearts as well that are a good source of protein. So there's a lot of different components of the plant beyond the bud, which is what's used for extraction of CBD.
Hemp really gained a negative reputation since it got coupled with marijuana in the 1937 Marijuana Tax Act. There's going to be more focus on not only on
One of the biggest misconceptions we see about CBD is that unlike THC, it does not cause a high. Marijuana is grown more of a greenhouse type grow versus industrial hemp. You can see that on large amount of acres. But the look of the plant is similar, especially the buds, which is where the important compounds like the cannabinoids and terpenes are concentrated.
The general public and lawmakers still don't really understand that CBD is a molecule that does not have any psychoactive properties and will not cause that high from marijuana. The CBD has been shown to have a lot of analgesic properties. There's a far-reaching list of benefits from CBD that have yet to be explored.
With the recent breakthroughs in science and a surge of mainstream popularity, hemp products are primed for big years ahead, expecting to eclipse $2 billion in revenue by 2020. But even with such extraordinary momentum, challenges within the industry still persist.
So states have a licensed cultivation program for industrial hemp. The biggest criteria is that the THC content in the hemp must be less than 0.3%. There are certain licenses that are required by the Department of Agriculture of each state to be able to plant hemp. So once you get the license, you get 2 weeks to farm all of it. It doesn't matter if you have 5 acres, it doesn't matter if you have 500. You must get it within a certain time frame. You need harvesting equipment to be able to farm 500 acres. You can't do that by hand.
Right outside Denver, in Watkins, Colorado, Casmira is delivering legitimacy to a burgeoning but widely unregulated market. By producing up to 1,000 kilograms of THC-free CBD products used in everything from textiles to gel caps, Casmira is actually helping to change the agricultural face of America.
Our academic and professional backgrounds are in chemical process engineering. We've seen everything from purification, distillation, extraction, all the methods that are very important to employ in an industrial hemp manufacturing facility. Not only that, but our team is composed of operations experts, we have chemists, we have chemical engineers, and they all have backgrounds in purification technologies as well. Combined, our team has 125 years of chemistry and engineering experience, and we're able to bring that to Casmira to not only design an efficient plant, but work with our team members to help them understand increasing efficiency of processes.
To make an end product that has 0.3% THC, you actually have to start off with a raw oil, such as our oil, but that raw oil will have 2 to 7% THC. So you end up having to dilute the oil 10 to 20x to make sure that it's compliant to 0.3%. To get it to 0.3% THC is difficult. But with Casmira oil, we're able to get it to 0%, which is a higher efficacy, and just shows the technology prowess that we have. Purity is very important to us because it's all about trust. So we send our oils out for third-party testing to make sure that there's no THC in the end product, and that is one of the ways that we're constantly innovating to make sure that we're at the highest level of purity and quality.
We work closely with local Colorado farmers to not only understand how they can help Casmira, but also
Second.
mystery and misconception, possibility and promise.
To get it to 0.3% THC was because it's all about trust. So we send our oils out for third-party testing to make sure that there's no THC in the end product. And that's one of the ways that we're constantly innovating to make sure that they're at the highest level of purity and quality.
We work closely with local Colorado farmers to not only understand how they can help Casmira, but also to increase awareness in general about the growth of industrial hemp. We planted last year 240 acres. We're planting a similar amount this year. And what this does is provide the company with a consistent supply of feedstock.
As the world's largest manufacturer of broad-spectrum CBD isolate and THC-free full-spectrum CBD oil, Casmira is using their superior extraction process to produce up to 1 ton of product a month. By creating a better product, Casmira is instilling something even more important in their customers: confidence and trust.
They can rest easy knowing that there's full traceability and we can track the product the whole way through. And we know even just coming into the facility, our hemp does not have those contaminants and the products will not have them either.
No heavy metals, no pesticides, no residual solvents, no THC. To learn more about how Casmira is setting new standards in purity every day, visit casmira-llc.com.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I think I never expected that this session will go like this. So first we have the Indian scenario, then we have international delegates, and then we have beautiful videos, kind of a benchmarking that this is what's going on in the world, and India needs to be at that level at least. to compete with the global level of this industry, that is hemp and cannabis. Thank you, Dr. Asha and her team, for showing us these videos, because this is really a very amazing experience. So now again, I thanks to Yogesh ji, because he was supposed to deliver a presentation, but rather than that, he volunteered and asked that let's have a quick discussion again with the industry, and we want all of you to also involve. So quickly you can pass on this message to the people who are roaming around. एक पे जल्दी से सबको मैसेज पास ऑन करें कि इंटरेक्शन और क्वेश्चन आंसर स्टार्ट हो रहा है, so they can join in and do the interactions when they want. Quickly, please. So let's have Yogesh and maybe you can coordinate and take it forward from here. Thank you. And I request one maybe question or discussion from your end, and then one question or discussion from this end, because they have given us time till from morning, so they should not get involved in the process. All of you can shoot your questions, your queries you want to discuss here. Please feel free to. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Piyush.
Who wants to come first? You want to? You can
This
start
is
and then maybe Dr.
this is a rare opportunity, right? We've got the whole value chain here. We've got Karan from Industrial Hemp Fabrics. He's invited varied range of guests from overseas. We've got Sukrit, who's into white labeling, and he's leading the head there, doing a lot of stuff for Indian companies here. We've got Dr. Reddy here, and then we've got Vishesh, who's on the D2C side of things and a manufacturer. And then we've got two technology partners who are playing with different parts of the value chain and trying to establish good technology in India. So I think it's. I would start after you, please. I was starting off with a question, but please go ahead.
Thank you, Yogesh. I want to add that the enthusiasm that's shown here and the knowledge base, the technologies really are amazing, and there are few opportunities where we can actually contribute. As far as the grow is concerned, we have analytical techniques to be able to demonstrate that we could provide you products where you could get your feedstock and your starting materials to be free of pesticides as well as heavy metals. And we'd like to be able to offer those kits to all of you. Okay. The next thing is that the video for Casmira did not show the technology that we are really using, because it's patented and it really utilizes continuous chromatography. It's called simulated moving bed chromatography, which is patented, and we don't offer that as a service, especially only in the CBD industry. However, SMB chromatography can be offered for extraction and purification for all other herbal products. To that end, therefore, before that came into the picture, the fact that we could really determine how much THC, how much CBD was there, and of course, as you say, not every cannabinoid is really known. We can actually go out and offer, that your product, every product can be defined by the amount of CBD and the amount of THC in there. To date, in the United States and everywhere else also, they were only able to offer compliance, by diluting the product. However, through our technology, we can actually begin to be able to get to a product that's either below 0.3% THC or rather non-existent at this point. And taking that further, I can add that we would love to be able to work with many of the industry stalwarts here to understand how to categorize CBD, really, which is going to be non-psychoactive, as a novel food. And I'd like to work with Dr. Reddy, who's really playing in this industry, such that we could actually go in and apply, to the food, that is the FSMP, and be able to take that towards its real concept of wellness. So I think we have a tremendous opportunity here to be doing not just medical cannabis, but also for wellness, and really going after understanding that these products and these ingredients really have very standardized amounts that can come within the compliance and regulatory environment. Thank you.
Hello. Thank you, doctor. Thank you so much. And often just speaking of two sides, as in the US, I think the industry is divided into the industrial hemp side of things. There's the medicinal and the recreational. We don't have any fair divisions in India around these three things, right? So I would like to say have Karan or Dr. Reddy tell us about say what are different efforts on the industrial hemp side versus what are different efforts on the medicinal and recreational sides that we need to take.
Exploring the opportunities with industrial hemp, like mentioned in text over the internet, we have known that it has more over 50,000 odd products. Eventually, looking at our ancient text in Vedas, right from the time of Dwapar Yuga to till date, the use of cannabis as a construction material to overall material where clothing was based. So I can correlate certain things that maybe you can actually get an insight that this might be possible. Like just imagine yourself back at the time of where Ramayana had taken place, the place where the pool was actually created, the Ram Setu. Now it was said that the stone was written with the name of Ram and thrown into water and it was floating. On religious basis, definitely I would like to accept that, okay, in the name of God, definitely even stones can float on water. But as an engineer and as a technical person, if I think, would there be a possibility that they actually created hempcrete that can actually float on water? That's quite a possibility. Things that can float on water was actually as strong as a stone and it could actually create a bridge. Coming to Mahabharata stage, the clothing, the armor that the warriors were wearing. Now, like we say, the hemp clothing is one of the most strongest material. So maybe there is a possibility all the warriors wore those in order to be protected, like Karna's Kavach. In today's world, it is called as carbon fiber. We never know that in previous times, it is a possibility that hemp was actually involved in it. Coming back to the current case scenario, a lot of researchers are working on the same where technical products are actually getting induced with hemp, industrial hemp. The fibers, the herd, the shives, every part, including the roots. The roots are high, rich content in nitrogen. It is eventually gonna fertilize any soil, even a barren land. If you induce the soil with the hemp roots, it will actually nourish the soil to increase its fertility and increase the production rate by 60%. Then, about the leaves, definitely, Sir would be addressing the same, but I would like to add a few experiences that we actually explored. That the leaves can actually be a great source of cosmetic products, as well as it can be utilized in a form of cosmetic and medicinal products. The birds and flowers, definitely it has the content that the world wants, irrespective of having a control. Here we are strictly against controlling the nature because we are the nature is for us. We cannot be for the nature. The nature is for us, so we cannot control the nature. Creating THC 0.3%, that is a regulation set by the government for legal use or something which we call a regulatory use. Now, I would like to suggest that with our research, definitely whatever strain you grow, how much ever THC percentage, because according to the geographical condition of India, there are more than 400 plus strains have been found. Like on the Western Ghats, they call it as the Western hemp, best for fiber. In the Northern Plateau, best strains for THC content and best used for medical cannabis and best used for cosmetics. In the later part, it also comes down to construction and it's a huge variety. You cannot standardize any plant. You cannot crossbreed it. But the thing is, when you actually understand the usage, we can post-process the plants in such a way that you can remove the THC. Where experts like this can actually isolate each and every chemical content that the government doesn't want in it. And they can certify it by cross-checking it. Am I right?
Yeah, but it doesn't come under Ayurveda, the isolation.
Yeah, I definitely understand that. But in technical world, if people from government they want, we don't want this, we don't want that.
I mean,
It's like a package, like we are bringing your iPhone and they are like, I don't want AirPods with it.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
I have a question for Dr. Piyush and Reddy sir. Now, what is happening today? The hemp products that are being sold and all these companies over here, you have very conclusive data that these things are getting affected, right? I mean, they are really working. Do you agree on that? On a scale of 1 to 10, the medicines that are being sold today or that have been available today, on a scale of 1 to 10, how effective they are?
Excellent question. In fact, I will put it in that way. When I started my journey of clinical practice, I got a call from an online website, and that guy was saying, I have talked to so many other doctors till now, and nobody is ready to join us in the name of like setting up the medical cannabis consultation practice and all. And I was the initial facilitator. Dr. Tahir was there already. He will be joining us in the next session. And I was the first time the doctor to take it forward in a way that let's take it forward, let's talk about it. I have heard this in 2013 with one of my clients. I used to work, he was from Toronto. There was a separate domain and a separate research study that was in oral healthcare, but we heard about cannabis getting popular there. We know that is there in Ayurveda, but nobody teaches us. So when I started in my practice, so there were very less or negligible classical medicines available, and there were certain tinctures and proprietary products out there. So first of all, yes, when we started, see in
Right, on a scale of 1 to 10. For example, the commercial things that are available right now.
No, in fact, actually the problem here is, let me put it
because I have a second question preceding.
Let me put it in that way. I can't score right now because there are so many dynamic factors involved in determining the end product, the medicines, be it a classical, be it a proprietary, be it a cosmetic or nutrition or whatever.
On a generic level, on a generic level. So actually the second question is based on the first. Sorry,
Since I've left practice long back, so I came from Germany after my PhD in medical nutrition. I practiced in Apollo, Bangalore for this one. So I met a couple of doctors for the Bangalore this one. Allopathic doctors it should invite. So then.
They are there in the next session.
Yeah. So
they are already there in the next.
See, on the oncology space, we are working on how to take it forward. If you ask on the 1 to 10 scale. So it depends on two categories. What is, are you doing it as a solo therapy or are you doing it as a concurrent, as a prophylactic therapy? For example, you are using only cannabis, medical cannabis for the treatment. Then let's say my findings are telling you, so I'm open for criticism. So I have seen the outcome result is less than 5, around 5, let's say 4 to 5 I can give. So when I combine cannabis along with the mainstream therapy, so I don't want to fight with the mainstream medicine. In fact, I'm married to them. So and together we have done the clinicals, where because the mainstream model therapy has the clinical biomarkers to put, for example, on oncology, I would say. So along with somebody was telling yesterday, price was very high. That was a big discussion. You know, liposomal amphotericin and liposomal oncology drugs are 60,000 rupees a vial. Okay, So where you give along with that, I have given for the CAS management and the DAS, depression, anxiety, stress, and the cachexia anorexia syndrome, particularly in cancer, the outcome is more than 9.
No, actually, just
So
to
it
add
depends
on,
on two, which one you want to use it as a prophylactic therapy, I mean combined the complementary therapy, or as a solo therapy. So on the solo therapy, on the especially on the Shastric medicines. So if you want to make from the Draviguna Samhita and they make the Vatika Gotika and all, there it is in single digit only. So it will come below 3. So
no,
this is my
actually,
3.
no,
I have to
disagree.
use 2.
Sir, I disagree. Let me put it in that. You see, we need to understand first of all who is taking these medicines. Now there is a confusion as you mentioned about mainstream. There is a confusion because Ayurveda and allopathic doctors can't work right now in several ecosystems. Some are working in some ecosystem, but some are not working, and that is a separate discussion. We'll put it in the second half. Now the point here is, let me give it, sir. The point here is whatever the medicines are available. If you are asking the scoring, Ashish, the scoring, like for example, I can replace any painkiller right now on any pathy, with due respect to all the pathy, very well with medical cannabis in the existing practice, and I can give 10. I can replace the insomnia treatment management right now with the available medicines. I can give 10. But yes, as far as the healing or getting the results in terms of the healing of onco cases, then definitely the flower and bud medicines are required. Nobody can expect anything healing in the leaves.
I was coming to that.
So that is the story, and I can say.
So I was coming to that. So you're saying that any product if I take from here, it will help me in sleep, it will help me in pain management.
Sure.
Now the way these products are being made, they are basically taken off from excise. They are probably 1 month old. They are mixed up with all the kachara because all these things are.
We agree.
Now just imagine the potency of this is even good at the kachara that we are getting right now. Just imagine if we get an access to flowers. No, so my point is that this. So with what inputs, ingredients the manufacturers are having today, and with that they're able to make this medicine which are kind of effective. Imagine the potential of flowers, where the actual oil is. I mean, leaves also do have oil, but when you talk about terpenes, Dr. Piyush was talking about terpenes. Terpenes is one of the most, in fact,
Yes.
there is a school of thought which says terpenes actually works in tandem with CBD, and there is a school of thought which says that the whole composite oil or the full spectrum oil. So the concept of isolation. So there are two groups divided. So one believes in isolation that CBD only works. The other group believes that the whole thing works, just like as an entourage effect of all of that. So my second point was that once representing to the government, I mean, why are we sticking only onto the leaves? We should represent flowers. Because if you talk about efficacy as a manufacturer, if I take 1 ton of leaf and I take the oil, I get say 5%. If I take 1 ton of flowers, I probably will get 30%. I will get all the ingredients what is required for the whole family of cannabinoids. So my point to the discussion panel is, I mean, we should insist on the flower first rather than the whole. If the cannabis policy is not yet drafted.
No, the problem here is with flower and bud again. That is right now under Narcotics Act. Point number 1. So when we talk about flower and bud, this state actually the problem here is there are 2-3 multiple departments. I have understood and exhaustively worked with a couple of states. There are 2-3 departments involved. And when we talk about seeds, now seeds is in FSSI, so at least they are positive. When we talk about leaves, at least Ayush knows and they give the permissions. Once we get the permission from Ayush, we can get the excise quota of farm. That is the process currently, right? So when you are see, it's not about talking; it's about creating a policy and implementing and doing the work. So when we talk about flower and bud, immediately they say, okay, go to narcotics first, ask them, and then come back to us. We have went to narcotics also. Now narcotics is saying, go to them if they allow. We don't have any issue because already doing in allopathic. So the problem here is everybody needs to sit under one roof and under one roof and understand that first of all, okay. Now on that note, when we talk about flower and bud, they ask, okay, at least ask like here, Dr. Asha or maybe any other international group who is there. We have international delegates, so they are saying at least get some data, get some research that what kind of effect you are expecting from the flower and bud.
Precisely.
That is the
That
bottleneck.
is my third question to Dr. Reddy sir. So, sir, if you are an Ayurvedic practitioner, if you want to do some clinical trials, you need to have traceability as to what is the flower, what is the genetics that you've used. So unless you do that as an organization or as a person, as a doctor, or whatever it is, my point to you is very simple, sir. How will you clinically, if you do a clinical trial, how would you prove to the consumer that this thing works unless you don't have a traceability back. So my point is, any research you do today, and if you are getting access to only leads, and that too random leads, they are basically coming from where, how old it was, nobody has this idea. So my submission is just one thing: is we have to have a standardization as the video showed. I mean, you have one particular crop, one variety which is growing on some acres, and you're repeating that whole thing. So once you do, when you take that crop, take the oil, do a clinical trial, you are absolutely sure that next time when you're able to give this to the patient, you have the traceability back. So this is what my
Ashish sir, I would like to
working on this a lot from last 5-6 years. See, right now it is a difficult. We don't know what we are getting from the quota we are extracting. So every time from the plant I get a different. When I analyze a different state, so the variation is up to 70%. Can you imagine? So the with one quota batch which I got, so you get let's say CBD THC 1:2 ratio. Then we have a separation technique to separate how much THC we want, and then so that the final product has that much THC which is required. But the next batch will come all the way up to 70% difference. So now until that is a different difference. So we need to work on the genetics of the plant and how to breed. Of course, I am little against bringing seeds from elsewhere and doing cross pollination, as Mr. Avasi rightly said. It will spoil our product. This one, because we have 4 zones where cannabis grows in India. The lower Himalayan range, where it is very good for medical, cannabis indica grows predominantly, where THC value is high, and the Western Ghats and the Eastern Ghats, which is the Araku Valley, where cannabis was found initially. So there, sativa grows very well. So there are 4 zones in India itself. So we cannot cross contaminate this ecosystem at all, since wild cannabis itself. So you have to have a cooperative society, like how coffee is grown or other things are grown. So what I'm telling is, with Dr. Piyush help, maybe we can say, so you allow, I think, see, ultimately we have to select through the doctors. That's what is our motto also. So when we have to select through the Vaidyas only, let it be in narcotics. Now, what is the problem? So I don't really mind if it is coming, if the bud is allowed in narcotic, because with bud, I know standardization becomes easier. I know terpenes are there. I know everything is there for my, especially I am working on oncology. And other areas, I think people, what a suggestion to all my industry colleagues here is, everybody was working on pain. So you are flooding all the market for pain. So there are 18 diseases where allopathy cannot even do. For example, intractable epilepsy. Epilepsy in India is 40% intractable. Can you believe? Means intractable epilepsy means any cocktail and mocktail of anti-epileptic drugs cannot cure. So there are, see, 8% of Indians have diabetes, whereas 1852 brands in diabetes in India. Whereas 21% of Indians have arthritis and joint pains. We hardly have anything. So in that, while work on those areas, for example, neurofibromyalgia, there is allopathy has nothing to offer. So then they will come, because in all the NMC, National Medical Council and the Medical Council of India and Oncology Society also. So in all oncology hospitals, now they are open to alternate medicine. One Ayurvedic doctor is there in all the oncology hospitals in the country right now. So HCC hospitals, which is what my cousin is our co-founder there, they are the largest private oncology hospital in the country, and then Tata Memorial such. So in every oncology hospital, one Ayurvedic doctor is there. So they know that this palliative care cannabis can help a great deal. So come in those areas. So there is huge. That's why I was saying, when I tell people are telling costly, so come to 294 medical oncologists who are doing $2 billion with 3.5 lakh Ayurvedic doctors. I don't know what is the business. I don't know. Anybody is qualified. We may not be doing more than 2,000 crores.
No, sir. Actually, we understand that, and there is a basic problem I yesterday mentioned as well, as you
with your association, I am able to take, because I am in oncology for all the different. Please put from your Indian migrants, government doctor. So they also get job. Government doctor is automatically prescription starts.
Definitely, sir. And there is a one. I am coming to you, sir. I am coming to you, sir. I'm just adding one fundamental issue here.
Yeah.
So the problem is India with allopathic as well as Ayurvedic doctors. First thing we need to understand, and that's why we are publishing the first book in April, and we are moving forward. The first book will be basic, and then the advanced one, knowledge. So the problem here is nobody is teaching in medical colleges. Nobody is getting the exposure after that till now. So they know about medical cannabis, but they don't know how to prescribe. They don't know how to connect with whatever patients and whatever disease. And there is another problem to that. Let me complete, sir. I have listened to. Let me complete. There is another problem to that because we are sitting on the another side as well. I am a clinician as well as I call myself as an entrepreneur as well, and I am positive and very much supportive for the industry. The problem on the other side is now allopathic and Ayurveda have a separate issues. Although they have a department, but still I have seen the departments running in Medanta and everywhere. There I have an issue unless or until that association and that relationship will be with a self-respect kind of attitude for each and every pathy, then it will be successful. I have so many good oncologists who are very much positive and always refer and say, Piyush, यार सारा देके देख लिया, इसका दर्द कम नहीं हो रहा, तेरा कहना भी इस काम करेगी क्या? मैंने कहा सर भेजिए करेगी, थैंक यू यार, उसको एटलीस्ट दर्द कम हुआ है. This is the way, not the way that I don't want to name that person. I have worked with him, but one on one side, then on the other side, one very senior oncologist is writing negative about this in the leading newspaper. Are you aware about that in Times of India? Right. So the problem here is first the fraternity should have come forward, then the association should be there, and the basic level knowledge should be there, and then they will take up in their prescriptions, which definitely when they will take up, they will see the benefits. Thank
Yes, sir. One small question now. The cannabis that you gave to that patient, did you know what variety it was?
No, sir. I have all.
Did you measure any THC or CBD in that? No, right?
Arey, sir, we have all these issues. We know. Please address them.
Precisely our point that this 0.3%, 1.5%, and all that. If that cannabis work for the patient, why?
Ashish sir, I would like to address with your concern that which variety. Now the identification is one of the issues that we are facing. So our IT team is actually working on a system where we can actually categorize as well as scrutinize at every level. Like you mentioned, everyone knows about blockchain system, right? So we are trying to introduce a blockchain system to the Indian government, stating that this blockchain system will actually identify each and every core of cannabis strain from the farmer level to the area level, where it can be traceable while it is being given to the end customer. So the moment you scan it, you can actually get the back traceability that where it was processed, which company processed it, who procured it. This all data can be given online to the NCB, the customs, the rest of the government people. So, yes, so we need to get together in order to like get a association made in order to get it all aligned.
Also, one more thing is to add on for the identification. Yes, even now it can be identified. I have a FTIR machine, and through FTIR machine we can identify. So it's like we can make different protocols according to the strain we are getting. See, now yes, the strains are always different, but I won't say if it's 100 times is different. Somewhere down the line, some things are nearby, and every time I do, I use an FTIR. Through an FTR, you can kind of, I wouldn't say 100%, but a 55% range up and down. Till there, you can identify by
And
FTR.
these are great methods. I think we have some systems in place to have some kind of traceability. But around the world, the golden standard is World Health Organization has good agricultural collection practices, which are very stringent, and we don't even have like 10% of that. So we have some certain systems which we are doing, but I think it's important that there are efforts in place so that we can eventually start meeting those standards, because if we don't, we can never go to pharma industry. We can never go to pharma industry.
And one
And
thing,
I would,
Private farming is allowed. Contract farming is allowed. Then
yes, exactly. So that's it's
and one thing,
No, in fact, for that contract farming, when we requested the government, they said ask some good people to get a project report that how per the biga or acre whatever you define in the land, how that can improve in terms of the income of a farmer. So we need to give them that brief कि बॉस अगर इसके आप कॉन्ट्रैक्ट फार्मिंग अलाउ कर रहे हैं एंड जो इनफैक्ट दिस गवर्नमेंट इज वेरी प्रो, वो तो पूरा किसान आंदोलन की लड़ाई हुई है कि आप डायरेक्ट कंपनी से जुड़िए, अपना रॉ मटेरियल लगाइए और उनको बेचिए एंड हेल्प विद द बेस्ट इंडस्ट्री कि आप लोग अपना डायरेक्ट ऑर्डर्स दें, वहां पर कॉन्ट्रैक्ट फार्मिंग वो इतने फ्लेक्सिबल है, दे आर रेडी, बट द प्रॉब्लम हियर इज अगेन you need to understand that how they will increase their incomes and usko state level that is going on in some pockets, in some very minor pockets it is already going on, by the way, sir, in Uttarakhand, but the problem here is that is not replicated and duplicated or propelled to the entire industry. Industry will not do it like that way, na? That you have to propel that to the entire industry, you have to bring all the people who are interested and grow at least in one or two states and set a benchmark that that is a hemp kind of, we can define hemp state, so the state economy is getting boosted and then definitely the other states will replicate and duplicate. That's why the two Uttarakhand officials were there full day yesterday here. They have get all the details. They will be creating a formal report and submitting to the secretary, and definitely we are trying to propel and replicate in the states of Uttarakhand and Uttar Pradesh very soon. Don't worry.
I would also want to add one more point for what you said, that was correct. So as sir rightly pointed out about the potency and the prices. So yes, the leaf is having, because we manufacture maybe a 1% or a 2% yield as compared to a flower which would be 30%. But apart from that, the second thing which is again very important in the flower and the leaf maybe a CBD THC percentage would be 10% or a 20%. When I talk about a bud, the potency level is also much higher. So it's not only the percentage of how much the yield is there. The second thing is the potency. Today we use 3000 mg or 4000 mg. We just need to use a 500 mg. So there are two places where the cost would be reduced massively.
Hey, sir, coming back to Reddy, sir, I wanted to ask you if in Ayurveda as such, so for example, say ginger, is there any clinical trials that has happened which proves that ginger is good for this? I mean, is there a protocol in place which says that if this is an Ayurvedic herb and we gave it to say 100 controlled, non-controlled patients, this was the positive effect? Is this kind of SOP or this kind of standardization is there in Ayurveda? Forget about hemp.
Classical Ayurveda itself it is there. Ashtanga Sangra Samhita by Bhagavad, who's the Charaka and Shushruta are known as the royal physicians, whereas Bhagavad is called as the people's physician. He wrote 3 books: Ashtanga Sangra Samhita, Ashtanga Hriday Samhita. Ashtanga Sangra Samhita is the Sangraha, as the name indicates, it is the collection of recipes. Indeed, he is known to have conducted clinical studies, the modern day clinical studies, the human studies, and he says the word, in fact, cannabis also comes from Kanaka Bishta. This is a Sanskrit word only. Kanaka is gold, Abhishta. Abhishta means all desires fulfilled. Because this is the only plant which works on all the panchakoshas of the body. Pranamaya kosha, Annamaya kosha, and Dr. Vaidya will be able to do it better. Since I am a linguistic student and a Sanskrit, I would call it as a scholar, so I am a Sanskrit ceremony student and I still study. So that's how more interest in Ayurveda developed. So Bhagavad describes it in much detail actually.
So it's like a pharmacopoeia for
yes,
Ayurveda.
there are standardized recipes in we have 60 books of Ayurvedic.
But sir, those are all written 500
Let me just clarify. Yes, first of all, answer is yes. There are several clinical studies and clinical trials already going on in various national and international organizations. In fact, several companies have done trials in AIMS. And it's not about ginger, the entire Ayurveda if you talk about.
Whatever, yeah.
So several companies have already see hemp and cannabis is just a small fraction of our entire platform, by the way. We are the founder of India's largest platform, that is IndianMedicals.com, the parent brand, and we are dealing with the groups like Dabur, Maharishi, Jandu, Emil, all these big Ayurveda giants. Like for example, Dabur or Maharishi, I can take 2 examples. Both of them exhaustively doing clinical trials. So there is 2 categories. One is the classical medicines, like for example, Tripla, like we have Tilokia, Vijayavati, all these. So these are the classical medicine, as correctly mentioned by sir. So already the method lecture and take it to the patient. But for the proprietary or patent, already clinical trials are there. And very soon government is making a mandate that for all proprietary and patent, you have to do clinical trials. It is on the verge of getting mandated, but it's already there. And many companies are already doing. Himalaya, one of the oldest, they have already done exhaustive clinical trials. Maharishi, all of them are doing. They are doing with allopathic hospitals. They are doing, in fact, Maharishi is globally present. So they have done several international studies on their few, like Amrit Kalash is one product and all. So all these are already there in Ayurveda. In hemp and cannabis, it is just started. Couple of companies have already done some clinical trials, like in National Institute. In fact, one company has done a phase 4 clinical study in our clinic as well. We will get to know that, and I was the investigator for that study for insomnia, and excellent results.
But it was based on a variety or a generic thing?
Generic. It's a post-marketing basic study, but at least something is starting now. So So what you are talking about, because I come from the clinical research background, by the way. I started my career in clinical trials in way 2006, and I trained all these. My first project was in Tata Memorial Hospital, where at that time Tata Memorial Hospital senior residents were not aware about GCP. That is good clinical practices, clinical trials basically. We have trained them. I have trained them personally. I've sat with them in their OPDs and trained them for clinical. The entire allopathic fraternity from 2006 to 2012 evolved and learned about clinical trials. What you see today, that was the time when we trained them and we used to. I did GCP workshops with all the senior team of Dr. Advani's, team of Dr. Doval, team of Dr. Julka, Ames, Rajiv Gandhi, Tata Memorial. So I've done all these trainings of GCPs with them at that time. So the point here is, in Ayurveda, first the clinical trial basic, and in fact when ministries got formed, initially they refused and rejected. But now, as from our Prime Minister and the other people, now they are focused and they are promoting and propagating, and very soon they will be mandating these clinical trials. So either the doctors first of all needs to be get trained on GCP, how to handle the data. You can't just delete any data in clinical trial, not allowed for. So doctors need to get trained. Companies need to have the mindset that when we are like, actually the problem here is there is no mandate, so they just launch their products. But prior to launch, they have to get a budget. Okay, I will spend this much on my manufacturing. Then the second step is the standardization, quality control, toxification report, whatever, the entire R&D. And the final stage before the launch should be a clinical trial SPs, and then go to the market.
So ICMR is responsible for this, or there is no body which does the clinical trial? You have to do it privately.
No, you can do in government hospitals, in government
But
institutes.
the regulating body is ICMR,
No,
or
for allopathic, this is DCJ, Drug Control General of India.
but this
And
comes
for Ayurveda and Ayush, you can get an ethics. Right now, till now, this for marketed products, you can get an ethics committee approval, and you can do that trial in any hospital.
okay.
Till now, this is that, but very soon they are coming up with some clinical trial regulation for Ayurveda as well.
Okay.
That is on the draft.
So my final question, sir, is you just mentioned, somebody mentioned there are 4 different forms of cannabis that is native to India, something in Himalaya, something on the western. 4 zones, sorry. So do we have a variety with a name, with a genetic code or something? We don't have it. Okay.
No, but not that genetic code and all. I don't think so.
So basically, it's a wild cannabis thing that we have.
Yes, yes.
They're called land races, right? And then you further evolve them, engineer them to become certain percent.
So sorry, I need to now interrupt because we are short in time. I know all of you have several queries. What we are doing, just pardon me for that, but we are just opening up the entire thing to all of you in the expo area. You can do lunch, you can interact with their stalls. You can just quickly mention your stall numbers basically here. You can just quickly mention your stall numbers. So they are there till evening. So all of you can go. इस बहाने आप stalls पे जाएंगे, expo में से मिलेंगे. We have another very important session at 2:30. We already have certain speakers and senior doctors with us for that. So we have to start that. So at least 30 minutes break is required for lunch and for refreshment. 2:30. I repeat, excellent session आप miss ना करें. And in सब से please आप quickly stall number अपने रिवील करें.